Hey there world, and welcome to my September wrap-up, which, yes, I am filming right after my August wrap-up. Anyway, let's not get into that. This is my September wrap-up, and yeah, I've read quite a few really interesting books, I'm gonna put it that way, so let's start talking about them. The first one, long awaited, was Given Part 7. I love this manga series so much, and it's taken so long for the next part to come out. I'm reading the German translations, and I think we have now caught up with the original ones, so we not only need to wait for them to be translated, I think we now also need to wait for them to be written in the original and then to be translated, so it's gonna take a while for the next one. But I'm so glad that Part 7 is finally here. If you don't know already, Given is a story of a boy band at school and the relationships they have with each other. It's very queer and very like just coming of age, discovering who you are and what your passions are, and I just really enjoy it. I think the dynamics are so interesting. The way that it also incorporates like the passion for music and wanting to pursue that as a career is also really interesting. I just love this series, and I'm so glad that I got a new part, and I'm so sad that I now need to wait again. Then over basically the entirety of the month of September, I read The Joy of Small Things by Hannah Jane Parkinson. Gotta be honest, I only picked up this book because it has a really pretty cover and the name of the author is Hannah, which by the way is also my name. Hi, I'm Hannah. And I was in a bookshop with my best friend and she just showed this to me and said like, hey, she's Hannah and she also likes yellow apparently. And I was like, yeah, that's funny. And then I saw that it's short stories and anecdotes about things she likes, and I thought that was so sweet and quirky that I actually bought it. And yeah, I read this like sporadically throughout the entire month, like every time I had to go somewhere or wait for a train or something. This was a perfect book because it's just anecdotes or like essays, I guess, about things she likes, the small things of her world that give her joy, and they're like 3 to 5 pages. So like really quick reads, and I annotated a lot, I read a lot, wrote a lot of notes, made a lot of like little suggestions as to what she could add. I put in my own stories of why I like the certain things. I argued with her, like some things she enjoys I don't enjoy, and I put that in there. I just had a really nice time connecting with this book and just reflecting on what things bring me joy in my life. Then I also read part 9 of the manga series ReLIFE. Again, I've talked about this like every time I've read a new part, so I'm not gonna go into it a lot, but I did really enjoy this one. It's picking up speed and we're getting closer to the big reveal, and I'm really excited about that. And yeah, it's just really cool, and it's also in full color, which I really appreciate. Speaking of manga, I also read part 3 of Play It Cool Guys. Again, this is in full color, which I really appreciate, and this is such a fun story. It's so cute. It's just 4 guys who are really like clumsy and forgetful, and it's just following them, and in the last part they all became friends, and now they kind of help each other out and just have a nice friendship. I do think it's gonna become a queer story at some point. I'm getting the vibes, but it hasn't yet. But the characters are so like cute and quirky, and just I enjoy spending time with them. And again, full color is really nice. It's just a really nice, fun story, and I'm looking forward to seeing if my vibes are correct. And then I also picked up the first part of Kase-San und Blaue Blumen, which is a lesbian manga series. I did enjoy this one, but I'm not gonna continue this story, I think. I don't really enjoy the art style as much, it's just not my style. I didn't enjoy looking at the manga as much, and for me that's a big part of reading manga and comics, to like appreciate the art form. I just didn't like this one personally. The story is cute, like it's just a blossoming friendship and then relationship between these two girls at school, and I think it's really nice that this story exists, and the way they portray like the first crush stages is like really sweet. I enjoyed that part. So yeah, it's a nice story. I can recommend it to people who want a nice lesbian school romance. It's really well done. I just personally didn't enjoy the art style, so I'm not gonna continue with the series. Then I read a short story by Toni Morrison, her only short story in fact, and I'm never sure how to pronounce this word. Recitatif? Recitatif. This. I heard about this from one of Jack Edwards' videos. He talked about the story and was like really impressed, so I thought, you know what, I've never read Toni Morrison because her books are quite like big and like impressive and stuff, and I'm kind of scared to go into it, to be honest. I definitely want to, like now that I know her writing style, I really enjoyed that. I definitely want to pick up one of her actual novels. I feel like I've been missing out, but I thought, you know what, short story is a good way to get into that. So I read this short story, and basically the concept is that you have two girls who grow together in an orphanage, and one is white and one is black, but the twist is that you don't know which is which. And it's kind of like, it's described in the foreword of this as like an experiment of how much you can write and how much you can flesh out a character, and how you can like write their speech patterns and describe their life and their clothing and their looks and their personality without the reader thinking they know which one is black and which one is white. And I found it really interesting for that aspect. Like, I do still think about it. Like, I went back after I finished the story and looked at some certain phrases and stuff to figure out who I think is who. I have no idea. I just generally, I don't know, which is the point of the story. And I find that very interesting. But for me, it's kind of the only interesting thing. And maybe that's the point, because it is the experiment and that is the entire point of the story. But it kind of made it a little bit boring for me. I did enjoy reading it. I did enjoy like getting into the experimental idea, and I do really like Toni Morrison's writing style. I now know that, and I want to pick up more of her novels and see if I enjoy them more from the plot. But that's just the point. This one didn't feel like it had a plot, and even more so, it felt like it could have had a plot. I think I really would have enjoyed this as a novel if all the side characters and like the moments in between that she left out were just expanded on and used as a story. I think I really would have enjoyed that, but then again, I think if she would have done that, first of all, I don't think it would have been possible to keep these like not knowing who is who going. I think the more you go into detail, the more you know. And second of all, it may have missed the point of the experiment if there's too much other stuff. So like, I understand why it is a short story, I understand why it's done the way it's done, and I think that's really fascinating. I just wish it would have been a novel, but I don't think it would have worked. I'm not making much sense, I'm just saying I enjoyed it. I could have enjoyed it more. I think I will enjoy her novels. Yeah, I think that's a good web up. I think that sums it up. And because I was kind of on like a go with the short books, I then also picked up Ich will, dass ihr Panik Geratet by Greta Thunberg. These are her speeches of like, yeah, when she goes to like climate crisis demonstrations and like big political speeches and that kind of stuff. So these are Greta Thunberg's speeches, I think between 2018 and 2020, so like only 2 years. And they did keep them exactly as they are. They prefaced that actually, because a lot of them are quite repetitive. She uses like almost the exact same examples. She uses almost the exact same like speeches at some point, which I think a lot of political figures do, like to get their point across, they repeat the same stuff. So that makes sense. Just, yeah, it was a bit repetitive, but it also was really, really impactful. I think we all know that Greta Thunberg is quite an impressive, impactful, just, yeah, shaking you to the core person. And I knew that before going in, but I didn't expect the way it shook me. I genuinely cried whilst reading this. I got so angry at the world around me, but also at myself. I definitely felt like I need to do more, and I think it is really motivating, but it's also really depressing. Some of the speeches were so depressing and aggressive that I just felt numb afterwards, and I just felt depressed and beaten down. And then there's some other speeches where she's a little bit more hopeful, and then I felt more motivated. And I get that that's not the point. I get that she's not like responsible for motivating me. I just found it really interesting to kind of review my own response to the different speeches. I found that really fascinating. And yeah, I definitely recommend. I think it's even more impressive when you like watch a video or something of her speaking, because she's just so honest. It's not even brutally honest, because I hate the phrase brutally honest. It's just honest, desperately honest. This girl does not lie. She doesn't sugarcoat anything. She says it as it is, because it's the only way to say it. And I found that so fascinating and so impressive and so emotional. So yeah, just really, really just impressive, yeah. And the last book I read in September was my first Christmas book. I'm kind of already in the Christmas spirit, and no worries, I love Halloween. I'm not gonna like gloss over Halloween. The spooky season is upon us. But yeah, I read my first Christmas novel in September, which does also have to do with the fact that obviously I'm a bookseller, so I need to read books like kind of before season so that I can then recommend them for season. But also I just wanted something fluffy and sweet and cute. And this was not it. Always in December, or for Immer in December by Emily Stone. And oh boy. Spoilers if you want to read this book. There's a lot of death. A freaking lot amount of death for this to be a winter romance. So I wouldn't qualify this as a winter romance. I really wouldn't. You do have the romance between the main characters, and that part is really sweet and fluffy and cozy and cute and everything you'd expect. But then you have dead parents, fatal disease, grandma in the hospital, final death. And you're just kind of like, okay, this is not a cozy read. Yeah. I really don't know what else to say about it. It's not bad, it's just really, really not a winter romance. And it's clearly marketed as such. And I am stunned. That was not what I expected. I will hunt down an actual cozy romance for the Christmas time, because this was not it. I think it's a well-written book, it's just really not what it says it is, and I'm not sure how that works. So yeah, that was my last book in September. We are now in October. I have actually already read some books in October, some spooky ones, and I'm really excited about telling you about those. Probably in December, let's be real, the way this is going. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you always have a reason to smile, and I shall see you soon. Bye!